All around the world, are you ready for a brand new beat? Winter's here and the time is right for sumo in the street. Down in Tokyo, sumo in the streets. In Osaka, sumo in the street. In Nagoya, sumo in the street. And even Hokkaido, sumo in the street. It's an invitation across the nation just for you to know some sumo stuff. They'll be laughing, singing, and even some music. We are sumo in the street in Chiba, sumo in the street in Sapporo, sumo in the street in Nagoya, sumo in the street in Nagano, sumo in the street even in Saitama, sumo in the street. Young Vine, famous sumos. It's me, Jeff again. Welcome you to another video about sumo wrestling and talk about some famous sumo wrestlers in the past 20 years. First of all, I talk about Akebono, who's my idol. Akebono Taro, aka Chad Merwin, born May 1969, so he's 48 years old. A sumo wrestler for Waimalo, Hawaii. He joined sumo in 1988 and was trained by Takamiyama, and reached the top division in 1990. After 2 consecutive Yusho, he was the first non-Japanese foreign wrestler to be Yokozuna. He stood 6'8", and at his heaviest he was 550 pounds. So yeah, amazing, 6'8". Some people say sumo wrestlers who are tall have the worst problem because they don't have the center of gravity. But anyway, Akebono is famous for his big his rivalry with Takano Hana and Wakano Hana, the Hana brothers, and that's why sumo popularity in the 90s was huge in Japan. 8 years he was Yokozuna. He won 8 titles for a total of 11. He was a runner-up on 13 occasions. He had a lot of problems with injuries. That's the problem. Akebono was a Japanese citizen in 1996. He was a coach at a stable for a couple of years. He was a K1 fighter, but he's now a professional wrestler. So he's won 2 Triple Crown heavyweight titles at All Japan Wrestling, 2-time World Tag Team Champion, and 2-time Malaysia Tag Team Champion. So anyway, Akebono was going to be study for a career in hotel management, but watched sumo on TV and was happy about it. So basically, he met Takamiyama, and Takamiyama actually founded a stable just for Akebono to get into in 1988. Akebono means New Dawn in Japanese, by the way. March 1988, he made professional debut. Well, his entry cohort was one of the biggest ever because it had Takano Hana, Wakano Hana, and Kaio. Akebono did pretty well. So anyway, he actually got a Kinboshi in January 1991 for being Asahi Fuji. So basically, in 1992, after having some bad years near the top of the Makuuchi, Akebono came up with a 13-2 mark in January 92, just losing to Takano Hana. And then he got another 13-2 in May, which got him to Oseki. So basically, after an injury, he won back-to-back titles. A lot of people were shocked. And at the time of his promotion, the regular Yokozuna was taken for 8 months. And I think the Yokozuna Delivery Council knew that they had to bring him up because the rule was 2 consecutive appearances in Oseki. And his attitude towards sumo led people to realize that they should bring him. So basically, he was a sumo. He was a Yokozuna for 8 years, and of course, he won 3 straight top division titles in 1993. And of course, he had the tightness of facing the Hana brothers. In fact, Akebono and Takano Hana, their rivalry is one of the biggest ever. They ended up 25-25. So basically, they were tied. He actually represented Japan as, they said a professional sumo would represent each of the competing countries and lead them into the stadium. Akutaka Hana got Akibono three for Japan, and basically he led the other sumos in a ring cleansing ceremony at the opening ceremony. Unfortunately, Akibono's injury problems were mostly because of his height and weight. He had a lot of knee injuries. His first one was in '94 and fell upward and had career-saving surgery. Unfortunately, he ended up missing 3 tournaments in early '99 because of a herniated disc in his lower back. However, he came back in May of '99 and took 11-4. In 2000, he had his first injury-free year since '93 and won 2 titles, being runner-up 3 times, which was good. So basically, my favorite is Akibono does the thrusting technique. That's my favorite thing in the whole world. Is the thrusting technique. That's what I would use as for sumo. So he decided to retire in 2001 after another injury. So he was at Oyakata, and he actually helped Asashoru, who was a Yokozuna. So that was amazing. He had a restaurant, but unfortunately the restaurant had troubles. So Akibono left the Sumo Association in November 2003 to be K1, but it was mostly due to the failure of his restaurant. And his supporters network actually dissolved after his first marriage in 1998, so he didn't have a source of income. So basically K1 said, "We can clear your debts by fighting for them." Unfortunately, he was 1-13, and it was known as Maki Bono. Maki, of course, losing in Japanese. So he ends up 1-13. I forget who was the only guy to lose to him in K1 history. He beat Nobuaki Kakuda in K1 in Seoul. Unfortunately, Choi Hung-man knocked him down in 24 seconds. So yeah. He actually fought, his first KO fight was against Royce Gracie. Unfortunately, Gracie had a restless combination and first Akibono attack. Akibono fought Bobby Olagun. Unfortunately, Olagun beat him. He tried to beat up Dan Fry, but he guillotine choked him. And Akibono's last MMA match was against Giant Silva, and Giant Silva made him tap out. Akibono, in fact, was part of WWE in 2005 when he accepted the Big Show's challenge to a sumo match at WrestleMania 21. He was pretty good. Akibono squashed the jobber, and at WrestleMania 21 he beat Big Show, throwing him out of the ring completely. Then he went to All Japan Pro Wrestling and did okay since. He was actually Rookie of the Year in All Japan Wrestling with Kenji Muto. New Japan Pro Wrestling, he did okay. Hustle. He was the storyline son of Yingling and the Great Muto. It was called Most of Bono. He was actually born from a giant egg. Anyway, he went to Dragon Gate Pro Wrestling, went All Japan Pro Wrestling, and is in Udo. New company. Akibono's parents were Randy, a taxi driver, Irish and Hawaiian descent, and Janice, who was an office worker, Cuban and Hawaiian descent. So he's now known as Akibono Taro. He was engaged to someone but broke it off, and then he married Christiane Catalina, who was of Japanese and American descent, and they had 3 kids. Unfortunately, his marriage, he was actually he was in the hospital in southern Japan. He had a cardiac condition, but it was actually due to Great Lakes cellulitis and an infection. But the Wrestling Observer said that it was a serious heart issue, not because of his weight. So he won 2 titles in '92, 4 in '93, 1 in '94, 1 in '95, 1 in '97, and 2 in 2000. So yeah. Amazing. Next up is my second favorite wrestler, Konishiki Yasukichi, or born Sylvia Valere Atisano, who was the first non-Japanese born wrestler to reach Oseki. He won 3 top division championships, but never got to Yokozuna. He was the heaviest Rikishi for a while, at his peak at 633 pounds. He was 6 foot tall. I believe he's down to like 300 pounds or something now. So anyway, Akimoto was recruited by Takamiyama. He wanted to be a lawyer and also had a music scholarship to Syracuse. So anyway, his father had worked with the U.S. Navy but supported 8 children. So basically, he did for his family. He was named Konishiki because of his potential. There were a couple of Konishikis. One of them was a Yokozuna back in the end of the 19th century, and then Konishiki had two of Komusugi. So he was actually the 6th Konishiki and the 3rd to be in the top division. In 8 tournaments, he got to 2nd card, which was amazing. He did pretty well for himself. In September 1984, he actually beat 2 Yokozuna, Chino Fuji and Takano Sato, and was 12-3, and everyone was shocked. He looked good. He was second market by July 85. Unfortunately, he suffered a massive injury and had troubles, especially against Futa Harakuro in 1986. But he came back strongly and won Promotion Roseki in 1987. Unfortunately, Akimoto's increasing weight was a strain for his knee. He had some disastrous results. He was 5-10 September 1989, but weirdly enough, he bounced back with a 14-1 mark, 9 wins more than his previous tournament, which was amazing. He was the first foreigner to win Yusho since Takamiyama in 1972. In 1990, he had a chance to win another one in a 3-way playoff, but Asahi Fuji beat him to it. And then Asahi Fuji went on to beat Yokozuna in July of 1990. Konishiki had 14 straight victories in May 91, but unfortunately on the final day he lost to Asahi Fuji. Konishiki was a strong Yokozuna candidate. And with the 4 Yokozuna at the time either being retired, that being Chiyona Fuji and Orokuni, and Asahi Fuji and Hokotomi struggling with injury, Konishiki had an advantage. He won 2 of the next 3 Basho, and he had a 3-8-7 mark in the last 3 tournaments, which was amazing. Unfortunately, he was denied promotion, and the chairman of the Yokozuna Deliberation Committee said, "We have to make sure that Konishiki is a grand champion. We have to wait." And another member said that he didn't have inkaku, no grace, elegance of refinement. A newspaper actually said that we don't need a foreign Yokozuna. Unfortunately, Konishiki allegedly told the New York Times that if ever Japanese would be Yokozuna immediately. Unfortunately, the damage was done, even though Konishiki tried to stop it. Konishiki never came close again. He did pretty well, keeping his Oseki ranking. Unfortunately, in 93, he started sliding, and then he got to be Makashira, but unfortunately, his weight and slapdowns by later opponents screwed him up. Unfortunately, in November 97, he ended up with a losing record and almost went to Jurio, but he decided to retire, which was amazing. He's just like me, Oshidashi. After Sumo, he was actually a Sumo elder for a short time, and then was named Konishiki with the capitalization because his name's now in the Roman alphabet. So he married his girlfriend, Chi Ijima. He actually had married Amato, but they divorced in 2000. He was in the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift recently. And he was actually the host of an NHK children's program called Nihongo de Sumo, which helped children know traditional colloquial Japanese. So basically, he decided to have gastric bypass surgery in 2008. Even though he didn't have high blood pressure or heart problems. So basically, he liked sumo. And he actually helps kids out, underprivileged kids from Japan go from Hawaii to go to Japan to experience culture. So he won the title 89, 91, and 92. But that's it. What could have been. Next up is the legend Chiyono Fuji, who was 61 years old, who was 6 foot tall and 280 pounds. Decent weight, height stuff. He was one of the greatest Yokozuna of recent times. 31 youth shows, and he ended up second to Taiho. He had longevity. He had 10 years as a Yokozuna from 81 to 91. He finally retired close to his 36th birthday. So basically, he had the record for career victories and wins in the Makuuchi division, but unfortunately Kaio and Hakuno taken him around. He won the Kyushu tournament 8 years in a row from 81 to 88. That's amazing. And actually had a 53-match winning streak at one time in 1988, which was the longest post-war until Hakuno. Okay. Chiyono Fuji was kind of late, and he relied on superior technique. He was born in Fukushima, and of course, if you know Fukushima, that's where the power plant. So anyway, he had some great jobs. He was made Yokozuna. In November 1981, he won his first tournament as a Yokozuna. He dominated Sumo in 1982, winning 4 tournaments. And he had some nagging injuries. However, Chiyono Fuji in 1986 went back to being dominant. 5 out of 6 titles. He was the first guy in 8 years to do that. And then he went on that 53-match winning streak, the 3rd longest in Sumo history. He lost the final match in November 88 to Olo Kui. He would have been the first wrestler to have 3 straight 15-0 records. Unfortunately, he lost. But he still took the title. Unfortunately, Chiyono Fuji lost a daughter to SIDS, or sudden infant death syndrome, back in 1989. So Chiyono Fuji did his job. He got his vows appointed in March 1990. Unfortunately, Chiyono Fuji had problems in 91, losing to Takano Hana. So anyway, that was just garbage, in a sense. He helped out with the Sumo Association for many years. He was part of the board of directors in 2008. He resigned in 2011 because his wrestler had back strokes. So yeah, he had a lot of things. Unfortunately, he had surgery for pancreatic cancer in July 2015, and everyone thought he died. He died in Tokyo because his cancer had spread to his heart and lungs. It was just awful how Chiyono Fuji died and all that. But he did well. 3 titles in 1981, 4 in 82, 2 in 83, 1 in 84, 4 in 85, 5 in 86, 3 in 87, 4 in 88, 3 in 89, 2 in 1990. Amazing. Next is Akebono's big rival, Mr. Takano Hana, who's now 45 years old, 6'1", 340 pounds at his height, at his peak. So yeah, he had a brother, Wakano Hana, and they basically made sumo very popular in the 1990s. He was 17 years old when he reached the top division. That's amazing. He decided to retire in 2003. He came from a family with a great background, the Hanada dynasty. His uncle Wakano Hana I was a Yokozuna for 4 years. His father Takano Hana was Oseki for 50 tournaments. So basically, this is amazing. So Takano and his brother made their progression debuts in March 88. In fact, Akebono also doing the same thing. So basically, the 2 brothers couldn't, they went to the communal room with the other new recruits and couldn't refer to their parents, father and mother, but Oyakata and Okami-san. So anyway. Fuji was Taka Harada, but it would change to Takanohana if he reached no second, which he did. He did fantastic. He was the youngest ever Makashita division winner, 16 years, 9 months. Youngest ever promoted to Jiro, 17 years, 3 months. And the youngest to the top division, 17 years, 8 months. That's amazing. He actually ended up runner-up in 1991 in his fourth top division title from the tournament. Amazing. He was the youngest ever top division champion, 19 years, 5 months, in January 19. Unfortunately, he couldn't drink the celebratory sake because of his age. In Japan, you have to be 20 to drink legally, and had to make do the brewer term. So he was Oseki in January 93, which meant that he got the Takanohana name. He was actually a sex symbol with Wakanohana. Weird. So yeah, so he was 20 years, 5 months old when he was Oseki. So anyway, the Sumo Association thought that he would be Yokozuna in September 1994. Unfortunately, the Deliberation Council said no, it can't happen. They wanted 2 consecutive titles because Akimoto did the same. Takanohana did that in November 94. And his promotion was confirmed. So yeah. Just amazing. See that. Unfortunately, in January 2003, he had to retire because of his injury. And his retirement meant that there were no Japanese Yokozunas. It was the end of an era. He liked to hit the Mawashi with a belt. He was an elder for many years. He coached some wrestlers. Takanoiwa and Takanokusho. Unfortunately, Takanohana had some issues with a certain incident with a certain sumo wrestler that I will talk about later. His relationship was terrible. Unfortunately, there were rumors about the family falling apart. Takanohana and Wakanohana had issues because when their father died of cancer, there was like a big rift, and Takanohana said that he was the chief. He should have been the chief mourner because he was in the Sumo Association when his brother left to be a TV guy. But as traditional, the elder brother got it. And with the father not putting will, I don't know if this is Takanohana has come down to film for an extramarital affair, which led to her divorce. So anyway, Takanohana hasn't been back since. So basically, yeah. So he married Ri Miyazawa. Unfortunately, Miyazawa didn't want to kill her career as an actress to be a stable wife. In May 1995, Takanohana married Keiko Kono, a TV announcer, and has 3 kids. So he won 2092, 1 in 93, 4 in 94, 4 in 95, 4 in 96, 3 in 97, 2 in 98, and 2 in 2001. Unfortunately, injuries just cost him too. Let's talk about Asashoryu, who was the 68th Yokozuna and the first Mongolian to win. Don't tell me how I say his name. Well, he was 6 foot tall and 326 at his peak. He was the first wrestler to win all 6 Basho in a year in 2005. He did pretty well. He was Sumo's only Yokozuna from 2004 to 2007. And of course was criticized for not behaving well for a Yokozuna. He was the first Yokozuna in history in 2007 to be suspended from competition when he participated in a football match despite withdrawing from a regional sumo tour. Unfortunately, there were allegations of assault, and in February 2010, he basically turned. He's now only 37. He's born in 1980. That's amazing. So Asashoryu did very well for himself. Unfortunately, he just got in trouble. Unfortunately, the history of him is just Terrible. Max Dixon speculation. There was a tabloid in January 2007 that said that he paid opponents $10,000 a fight to allow him to win the 2006 record. ISAD Shoru denied the claims. So anyway, the tabloid got sued and had to pay out $437,000 in damages. And in 2007, ISAD Shoru decided to skip the regional summer tour of Tohoku and Hokkaido because of injury. Unfortunately, on TV he was seen participating in a soccer match for charity. Unfortunately, because he exaggerated the extent of his injuries to avoid his duties, was terrible. The Sumo Association decided to suspend him for the rest of 2007 and said that ISAD Shoru would get a salary cut by 30%. And he was not allowed to be anywhere other than his home, the stable, or the hospital. It's just going to use it. Some people actually said that he had a huge stress disorder, but thankfully he was okay. Unfortunately, 3 years later in January 2010, he had troubles. There was a tabloid magazine that said that ISAD Shoru punched his personal manager after getting drunk. Unfortunately, it wasn't the manager, it was a restaurant employee. So he decided to retire in February 2010 after the police questioned him. And it caused trouble to many people. So basically, he decided to step down for closure. So anyway, there were rumors speculating that the Imposition Deliberation Council was going to ask him to step down as is. There's a Mongolian official who said that the Sumo Association didn't want him to tie Taiho's term record because he's at 32. Unfortunately, that's not true. And ISAD Shoru was never given Japanese citizenship, so he couldn't be an Oyakata. And was given his retirement allowance of $1.24 million. So ISAD Shoru had a lot of issues, unfortunately. Yeah. Sumo, who's a member of the Mongolian Democratic Party. And it was helping the Mongolian kids out. He won 1 title in 2002, 2 in 2003 in 2003, 5 in 2004, all 6 in 2005, 4 in 2006, 2 in 2007, 1 in 2008, 2 in 2009, and 1 in 2010. Next up is Hakuho, who has 40 titles to his name. The second Mongolian to be represented in May 2007. He's now 32 years old. Was actually born March 11, 1985. So he was born just a month before I was born. So anyway, he won 86 out of 90 belts in 2009 and 2010, which broke some streaks. As I said, he's won 13 Central Yusho, 5 more than anyone else in history. In 2015, he beat Thailand's record. Although some say that, like myself said, he should not have done that. So anyway, Hakuho's father actually won silver in freestyle wrestling at the 68 Summer Olympics, which is amazing, because Mongolians are good for wrestling and all that. By the way, at his peak, he is 6'4" and 344 pounds. That's pretty good. So anyway, yeah, he's done pretty well for himself. Since then, with 40 bashes. In 2018, he had to pull out because he injured himself losing to Yoshikaze. Hakuho has had some great force outs like Fury Qs. Unfortunately, Hakuho is also known for giving an unnecessary show after the matches. Some people say Hakuho was a little basically they warned him what to do as a consumer, and that's ruined the sumo. But that's wrong. Hakuo married Sayoko Wada, the glamour model. He has 3 kids, 2 daughters and a son. He almost is ready to take Japanese citizenship. So anyway, he won a Bachelor in 2006, 4 in 2007, 3 in 2008, 3 in 2009, 5 in 2010, 4 in 2011, 2 in 2012, 4 in 2013, 5 in 2014, 3 in 2015, 2 in 2016, and 3 last year. When he's getting injured. That is the weird thing. Because the last time he won he's won at least 2 Bachelors every year since 2006, when he was Hiroseki. That was the only other, from 2007 to 2017, he won at least 2 Bachelors every year. Now here's the thing about Hakuo's 40 titles. There's 6 Bachelors. You have to win every tournament for almost 7 years just to get to his number 40. If you're a good sumo and win 4 titles in a year, you have to have a 10-year career in which you win 4 titles a year, which is hard to do in any sense of the word. So anyway, those are some sumo wrestlers I know of, and I'll be talking about some more stuff later on.